So, is that going? All right. This is take one, Sunday, October 4, 2009, around 2 p.m. with Marianne B. Gallo, or who I know better know as Mom. All right. Okay. So, all right. So I wanted to ask you is, and this is kind of a here and now question.
Sure.
Is I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the prospect of you 6 to 8 months moving from 608 Beacon Street?
Well, it's going to be, it's not going to be easy as far as the, actually moving things and getting rid of so much stuff, okay? But I'm anxious to move forward with the whole prospect, okay?
And, well, again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that, I learned from I told you this before, I believe, that I learned from my own personal experience and from my work in running high-rise luxury buildings, and most of the people were older people. And I remember the stories a few times where they would tell me that they realized they waited too long to make the transition from the big house out on the main line to, a condo or an apartment or something totally downsized.
Gotcha.
That was much easier for them to deal with.
So really, you just see this as just, just like any other time of, when you pursued your career, is just, planning for the future, which maybe decades ago it was saving money, you know what I mean, and buying, a nicer house and a nicer neighborhood. That this is just in a very similar way. It's just really just kind of planning for the future.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's trying to get all the ducks in a row, and being capable of doing what needs to be done.
As you get older.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
That's crucial.
Yeah. Is that what you're mostly kind of, concerned about? Is that, whether it be 6 months or 6 years, just a rapid deterioration of health, and then you have all these loose ends that
Yeah, the thing is that, in life, nobody knows what's just around the corner.
Yeah, right.
So while you still have the capacity, okay, physically, mentally, okay, to make decisions, to make plans, and to really control, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about control.
So in the event of
your,
a catastrophic thing happening, you kind of have your ducks
of
in a row.
your situation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that I realize that look, I'm going to be 75 in a couple months if I make it, and I want to make sure that Tom and Tommy are in a very stable situation. Not, some frantic, oh my God, what do we do? They got the house, you got to get rid of all the stuff, you got to, I want to hopefully avoid that for my family.
Though I think they're probably old enough to deal with it themselves.
Well, they are, but everybody's got their own life and their own problems and their own issues, okay? And I'll never forget what I went through when my mother died.
Oh, yeah.
And getting rid of that, even though it was a little house, getting rid of that house and all the stuff that had accumulated over all those years. And then to go under a sales agreement and half the house burns down.
I recall.
And having to find, dealing, and the one thing
Yeah.
that was so important, thank goodness, okay, that the insurance on the house was still in play when the problem happened, because if that insurance policy had run out and that house had burned the way it did, there wouldn't be any coverage.
Well, what are you saying is that when Grandma passed away, that nobody was making payments on the premiums, the fire insurance, or home insurance, I should say?
Well, the idea hadn't even come in to mind.
Oh.
Okay.
If home insurance was still being paid and selling.
There were so many.
Yeah.
There were so many issues that had to be dealt with. It's very complicated, and.
We're kind of getting
We're gonna get
assaulted
blown away.
by acorns here.
We're gonna get don't diss the acorns. Okay.
Well, I know it's all part of being green these days.
Anyway.
Was it your intention? Was it your plan to be here as long as you've been?
No, not at all.
What was your plan?
Well, my plan was that when I would retire, that I would sell the house, buy a condo somewhere, a very small efficiency, and spend half the year in Ireland.
Wow.
Oh, I love Ireland.
Yeah, I think you actually told me you were planning to have a condo in Philly, like the Philadelphian
Or maybe even down the shore.
Really?
Yeah,
Down the
maybe even
shore?
down the shore.
Wow.
Yeah, the reason for that is because down the shore, if and I'm talking about like 5,000 boardwalk, okay,
Well, yeah, you doorman assistants and that
everything,
type of thing. Yeah.
okay. I was thinking about, see, you can live there. The shore is a very quiet place to live between September and the end of May, okay? And then it goes crazy for like three and a half months, all right? So I figured, well, if I get a little efficiency at 5,000 boardwalk, okay, and then in May, head out to Ireland and stay in Ireland
For
until
3 months.
September. And I'll avoid all that, activity and noise
Tourism.
and all the tourism, sure.
Wow, that's interesting. And when were you planning to do that? When you were like 65?
Yeah.
Really? So when?
Yeah.
Because when did you retire from 5,000 Boardwalk? Wasn't it like 65 or 62?
I was 65.
You were 65 when you
Oh, yeah,
retired.
I was 65.
So were you considering at that time to buying a condo then at 5,000 Boardwalk?
Well, no, at that point in time, I wanted to disengage entirely with 5,000 Boardwalk because, unfortunately, and this happens in a lot of condos, the board of directors
Right.
was absolutely off the edge of the pier, so to speak.
Politically speaking.
Well, they were attacking each other.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing everything to undermine anything that really needed to be done there. I mean, very important projects, very important. And they were undermining and they were at each other. I mean, actually trying to duke it out.
Right.
Spitting in each other's faces. I mean, it was a nightmare.
Oh, I can imagine.
And actually, the Philadelphian,
Right.
when they got word that I was leaving 5,000, that I had resigned,
Reached out to you?
Oh yeah, they wanted me to come and talk to them about managing the
All right.
Philadelphia.
What a 180 there, you know, because
Exactly.
that's where you really started, the
Oh,
Philadelphia,
well,
79, 78,
Yeah,
79, and then
yeah.
here in,
Yeah.
what's 10 years ago, 99,
Yeah.
20 years later.
Well, actually, 2000.
Yeah,
It's actually
2000.
2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But okay, 5,000, you know, probably wasn't
But
on
then
your plan. Was there
Marianne-
someone else? Was there?
Well, Marianne had died in 2001.
Right.
Okay. 2 days after 9/11.
Yeah.
And which was a terrible, terrible thing
Sure.
to happen. She died of breast cancer.
Yeah.
And I believe Marianne was 37 at the time. Very young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the boy
Tommy.
was he then 10 years old?
8.
9?
8. It's 10 years ago.
That's right.
No, it's
No.
8 years ago. It's 10 years old. You're right.
Yeah, he was 10 years.
It's 10, yeah.
And I knew that in order to help him get through this, and not that you ever get through
Yeah.
the loss of a loved one,
Let alone one of your parents.
you know, I had to make sure he had time to readjust and so forth. And of course, his father was anxious to get on board.
Yeah, sure.
And so that was another aspect.
So
of
you
it.
didn't really feel that being down the shore was really conducive, or let alone living in a high rise for little Tommy to be going to school
Oh,
and
no.
it'd be better in
No.
being in a neighborhood like
No.
this.
I changed
know.
my entire game plan when Marianne passed away.
Yeah.
And my game plan at that point was to stick it out here at 608 Beacon Street.
Right.
Okay, and let the boy get through grammar school,
High school.
upper elementary, and high school.
Yeah.
And that was the plan, and that's where we are today.
So really, you know, what you were planning to do in 65, you're kind of like basically looking to do at 75.
Exactly.
You know, and so on.
Yeah.
So is a condo, or you're looking for an apartment? What do you?
Well, I have to really, it's going to take a little time to figure out and what's available. And you know me, I'm a shopper. You know, I'm always checking prices, evaluating situations.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, that all remains to be seen. You know, where I actually end up. Am I going to end up renting a place? Am I going to end up buying a place? I don't know yet. I really
Yeah.
don't know yet. But I have work that has to be done here, and I can't really move on those projects until Tom and Tommy are set up in their apartment.
Right.
And because, you know, obviously we have to get furniture out and so forth, and so I have to redo Tommy's bedroom, and the bathroom has some work that needs to be done, and I can't really do that while they're living here.
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
So they're not major projects, but they're things that need to be done before I put the house on the market. And I have no intentions of putting a for sale sign on my house.
Really?
None. I'm going to ask you and Andrea
Okay.
to set up a website, okay, and put my house on the internet
Oh yeah. So to sell it.
to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To
Well,
sell it.
yeah. That's a very, very, very effective way.
That's it. No open house Sundays. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I don't want my neighbors coming in to check it out just to see it. Okay.
Well, with
wasting
today's
all that time.
technology, what's neat is that with today's technology, you know, because of digital cameras and stuff like that, is that they can go right on the internet and see not just pictures of each room, but actually a video display, like walking through the home with using a video camera, digital video camera, and then just uploading that video
and
on the internet.
I'm already setting up the sales pitch as well. All the different attributes that the house has, all the pluses, and the house is being sold as is. As is. Phenomenal construction. I could go on and on.
Were you bought this house when?
What was it, 80, 89?
No.
No, 79.
No, you didn't buy this house in 79. We moved to Philadelphia in 79.
No, let me get it straight.
Because I remember mowing the lawn with Natalie.
I've been here for 21 years.
Yeah, maybe 88. I think it was 80.
It was in November.
Is 88.
88. Yeah.
No, that's not possible. Because I remember mowing along with Natalie, and I broke up with Natalie in September of 88. It was 87. Yes, because
I have to look on my papers.
And you had Miss Merkel living here.
Miss Merkel was here
with her family, or some of her family.
Some of her family for about 6-7 months.
Yeah.
She was here, and
I think it was 87, Mom. Because I broke up with Natalie in 88, and I remember her and I during the summer of 88 coming here, because I remember you needed help maintaining the property, getting the lawn. You were down the shore.
Living here.
You were you down the shore? Were you 5,000 at that time?
Actually, I was at
Oak Hill.
No. I went from 191 Presidential.
Right.
In Ballard Kimwood down to 5,000.
So you were at 5,000. So you were at 5,000 portable. Yeah, but anyway, I think it was 87. Were you happy with, over all these years, the layout at the home? Because I know our original home at 7502, for instance, was a colonial, and then you had that beautiful home up in the Poconos, which is what would you call that? It had a pitched roof with
what
do you call it, chalet? Is it?
Sort of. Yeah. Sort of, but it was actually a 2-story.
Yeah.
But it had that chalet look.
Yeah.
Any kind of raised ceilings.
With windows, all windows.
Cathedral ceilings.
Yeah. So did you prefer the ranch here over those type of multi-level properties like 7502 Wyndham Road and up in the Poconos?
No, I'll tell you the truth. To this day, I believe that 7502 was a great house. It was perfect for what we needed. Remember, your father had his business operating out of that house.
The den, yeah.
And we had a den with a powder room right next to it. And every spring, we would have all these people coming in to have their taxes done.
I remember.
7 days a week, okay? And the way you walk in the front door, and to your right was the office, and to the left
was the living room.
Was the family room, actually.
Yeah, family room.
Yeah. And it was a little difficult because we had strangers in the house every day.
Yeah.
And they would have to wait in the family room where you guys usually sat and watched TV.
So awkward, a little awkward, yeah.
But it was something we needed to do.
Was that why, was that the reason why you converted the garage, which was attached to the family room, to an additional, or what you might call it, a playroom? I recall that's what we called it, the playroom.
Yeah.
So to kind of sequester the children.
Well, to give you an alternative, and your father had put in boxes along that you could sit on
I know.
and lift them up and put the toys inside.
Yeah.
And then if you remember, we had this older gentleman, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he's the one that built the bar for us.
That was a
We had
beautiful,
that
that
gorgeous
brick,
bar.
wasn't it the brick?
Brick.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
beautiful.
And we had also had a gentleman put in that brick fireplace. Okay.
Oh, I thought that was already there when you bought.
Oh, no.
So you had
No.
that done prior to my arrival? That fireplace.
Yeah.
Oh well, all these years I thought it came with the house.
No.
It was just a regular
And then
wall.
It was just a regular wall. But the good thing, another good thing about that house was there was a door in the family room that went right into the garage.
I know. It was cool.
And
was cool.
the gentleman's name, I'm trying to remember, the bricklayer, I think his name was Orr.
ORR.
It was, or OHR. And he built it, he did a great job.
We did.
He did a great job. And then we finished off the garage. It still looked like a garage from the front.
I
We
know.
didn't change the door. Okay, but
I know. It's like we're getting invaded by
We're being
acorns. But anyway.
we are.
Yeah, I
Is
know.
that
It's like.
unbelievable? Anyway, oops.
Yeah.
He also, but then a friend of his, an even older man, is the one who put the bar area in, like he built cabinets across the back.
Yeah.
And that piece that I have sitting on my chest of drawers in my bedroom actually sat on the cabinets behind the bar. I had picked that piece up at
Oh yeah.
Strawbridge's.
That thing that stands up and you have the ornaments.
And
sitting
I had the ornaments sitting
yeah.
on it. That sat back there, and I had picked that up at Strawbridge's. They were closing out this stuff. It cost $15.
And it was a closeout sale at Strawbridge's, you said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they had stuff they had to get rid of to get more,
Amazing.
because
$15.
they carried furniture back in those days.
I don't recall you and Daddy using that bar very much. Whether it be on just a casual basis, you and him just making yourself
No.
some drinks, or even entertaining people.
Yeah. Well, I didn't drink, and your father wasn't a drinker either.
Other than beer, maybe.
If you remember, one beer at the dinner table, your dad.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
No,
One beer, that was it. He
Wow.
didn't drink. The only time your father drank, and I'm not talking about his youth, I'm
Right.
talking about once he was married with kids, okay?
Right.
The only time he drank like a mixed drink of Cutty Sark
Yeah.
with, water or whatever,
Right.
is if we were out at a party or dinner.
So he would kind of let it rip then. I guess his
Well,
relatives and
He would
friends,
have, but he wasn't a heavy drinker.
yeah.
He really cut, when he was young, when he was in his youth, like after he got out of the service,
Right.
okay, he drank. But him and his buddies,
Right.
they used to party on. But no, once he settled down and got married and had children, he
Kind of really leveled off, to say
yeah.
the least.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Daddy only at 7502. The only labor that he did, meaning home improvement, so to speak, as opposed to home maintenance like mowing the lawn and cutting the shrubs
sure.
and stuff like that, was really the dormer.
Well,
Did he build anything else other than that
well,
dormer?
he did all the paneling in the family room.
Oh,
he
so
did
he
the
did that
paneling,
stuff. Okay,
Going
wow.
up the steps. He finished off the dormer.
I remember that.
Okay, and the other thing
But he had
did-
contractors originally rip up the roof build
No,
the frame,
contractors
did the
did all the
exterior
framing,
and the
the
exterior.
roofing, even though they put the wrong roof on.
Yeah, I know,
They
which
put
was
the
a
wrong
chronic
roof.
leaking
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
I know, I recall
But
that.
the other thing he did is that when years and years and years ago, my father built a elevated concrete patio on the back of the house, our house when we were kids at 4320 43rd
Okay.
Street. And after we put our dormer up, 7502, Grandma decided to put a room on top of that elevated concrete patio.
Okay.
That was right across the back of the house, right up against the kitchen. Okay? So she had a contractor come in and build it.
You're talking about 43rd Street.
43rd Street.
Okay.
And your father went in and finished it.
Oh,
He did
wow.
all
I do
the
recall
paneling,
that.
And in fact, she put the exact same type of paneling in her room that we put in the family room.
Yeah,
at 7502.
In fact, I remember
Yeah.
your mother actually telling me that Daddy, when I was living with her there, you know, that Daddy had done the paddling.
Yeah.
You know, in that
he
extra
did.
room. So really, you know, on 43rd Street, right where the kitchen ended, that was the end of the house.
That was the
door.
end of the house.
That was the door there, and
That
then
was the end of the house, and
Wow.
they just took that wall out because it wasn't a bearing wall.
Right.
They just took the wall out and opened it up.
And Grandpa laid that concrete slab, that raised concrete.
Years ago.
Yeah.
When I was probably about 7 years
So
old.
you would just sit out there. It was an outdoor patio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or porch or something
yeah,
like
well,
that.
Yeah. That's what
Wow.
it was.
Wow. No, I remember when I was I guess I was like 6 or 7 years old, and Daddy doing that whole dormer thing. I mean, that was wild. The insulation and putting up the paneling, and
Right.
is that as far as it went with Dad? Really, was just kind of the paneling. Did he build walls and stuff like that, or he didn't go that far?
No, he didn't go that far. But he amazed your grandfather. Because when we bought the property at 430 Moore Street, okay, in East Camden, okay, the place needed a lot of work, and the cellar steps were shot, and your father built a whole new set of cellar steps going from the kitchen, and it blew your grandfather Gallo's mind.
What, that he was motivated to do it, or that he also that he had the skill to do it?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And he laid in a new tile floor in the kitchen. He wallpapered the walls in the kitchen. Your dad.
Mm-hmm.
He did all this. And
That's incredible.
Your grandfather was absolutely astounded. He really was.
So he redeemed himself in his father's eyes.
Oh, yeah. And Grandpop and Grandmom lived with us for a while when their house was being built on 43rd Street off of Westfield Avenue.
Is that wild?
Yeah. 4318.
Wow.
Okay, that was their house number. And they were moving in with Mary and Tony Angelini.
Gotcha.
And, but they, of course, sold the house, and they had to go somewhere until the new house was built.
Well, that must have been challenging.
So they came with us. Well, the funniest thing about it was that, you know, Grandpop Gallo was the man in charge. He had 5 sons.
Sure.
I mean, come on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he did. 13 years old, by himself, came over on a boat from Italy, landed in Ellis Island.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was supposed to pick him up. They didn't show up. They didn't show up. And they kept him there for 30 days.
Oh my God.
And then they released him.
Just out in public?
Just released him. And I don't know what his experience was from the time he was released from Ellis Island until he ended up in Camden, New Jersey at the Camel Soups in his mid to late teens, okay? And his biggest laugh was that when he applied for work, there was a big sign there, hanging there. Irish need not apply.
Amazing.
And a Camel Soup. Now, we're going back, 100 years, but, okay.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Who was supposed to pick him up on Ellis Island?
It was probably, I don't know who it was probably a distant relative, but once he got established in Camden and working at Camel Soup, over the years, after he got married and had all these children, he brought his mother over, her sister over, and 3 of his own sisters. He brought them over one at a time.
And I assume with his own money.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing.
And he was a laborer.
Yeah, sure. Assembly line.
But look what he did.
Yeah. Well, he was like the patriarch of, what 8 children, 26.
6 grandchildren.
I'm the youngest, I think, of the 26.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
all our offspring, and if you just really just do
the family is huge. It's huge.
the genealogical tree is just kind of like, is really amazing. I just wanted to go briefly just back to this house. So you actually preferred the design, the layout of 7502 over 608 Beacon Street.
Well, no. What I really prefer style-wise, okay, is I'm not really into colonial style. The colonial style.
But that's what Wyndham Road was, wasn't it? Colonial style?
I asked the builder if they could replace the windows, okay, with just plain glass.
Oh, gotcha.
And not the framing.
The grids.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they said no way.
Yeah.
So we assumed, we had to take it the way it was.
Wow.
But my real inclination is towards contemporary. That's what I'm really into. And what was interesting about 608, they were into the colonial style. And that's like when you come in my front door.
Right.
And the wall that I have mirrored, okay, they had cabinets there. But they were colonial style cabinets, and that's where they had their television set.
Are you serious?
And the fireplace that I had covered over with marble was green stone, like you have on the front of the house. It was that green Colorado blue, they call it.
Yeah.
It's greenish.
It's a neat color.
It's unusual.
It's really neat, and I actually like the actual design of the stone. It's kind of real thin and irregular. Random is probably the better word.
Well, either way.
Yeah. Wow.
But
Well,
but I
al-
also
go
like
ahead.
to mix in, you know,
Yeah, sure.
traditional aspects. I find that more interesting and more attractive to sort of integrate, okay, different styles.
Yeah, yeah. Make it kind of eclectic
Yeah,
or a hybrid or something.
sort of.
You
Yeah,
know, like that.
yeah.
Were you happy with the development of the second floor that you did? What was that, about 3 years ago, maybe 3, 4?
It was 2007.
Oh, really? So only a couple of
2
years
years.
ago. Only
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Were you happy with that? Like the way
Yeah.
it worked, turned out, and the way it looked,
Yeah,
design?
there was a couple things that I was not happy with. I wasn't happy with the cabinet doors they put on the closet to come up the steps. The closet you have there. I wanted a closet there, and they built the closet, but I wasn't happy with the doors that they put up there.
Yeah.
But when they were building this, I got the sense that it was costing them more than they had originally anticipated.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you honestly, I really felt that it really added a lot to the home, not just space, but I really think design-wise that both those rooms are beautiful, and what they did in regard to the windows, and they built that roof up, and to look out here in the backyard with
Well,
all
see-
this green, I just think it
Well,
turned
when
out
I
very
had
well.
gone up there, I would go up there from time to time, and this is really good because they didn't go through my house. They opened up a doorway up at the top of the roof on the side where the garage is, and they put steps in there that they would use the garage to come and go to take material and equipment upstairs. It was really, really good.
So they didn't have to trample through the house.
They didn't have to go through the house.
Yeah.
And they did some damage.
Well, that's par for the course.
That's par for the course. I
yeah.
expected that. Nothing that can't be resolved, and definitely.
But architecturally, I mean, did you really feel that it really enhanced the home? That is, that
Well,
the
see,
way
the
the first
fact-
floor is and the second floor is.
Well, the fact that I had put the skylight in over the dining room area really threw them off track when they originally went up and looked at it. He said, how are we going to deal with this? Okay, because obviously this big skylight comes all the way up and goes through the roof. Okay? And what I told them was that I did not want these windows in the front of the house like my neighbors have. I did not want that because of all the privacy and the beauty of this back green area. I wanted to be able to go up to those rooms, look out these large windows, and take in all of the privacy, the quietness, the color. I mean, I really want to take advantage of the aspects of that.
And I really do think that that worked out well.
Yeah, and when I had gone up there, and they were putting in this dormer area, so to speak, with the windows, they were leveling off the ceiling and making it level with the rest of the room. And I said, why can't we just go up with the ceiling rather than flattening it? And they just looked at me for a minute, and they said, okay, all right, we'll do that. And that added, in my view, so much to those rooms, okay? Thomas,
How you doing, brother?
Alright.
What a beautiful day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like this the next 3 days.
Yeah,
Is it?
we're being bombed here.
Oh, I hear it.
By acorns.
You should hear it up there. I don't know what it's hitting. But sometimes when it hits,
It goes ting.
it must be like, it sounds like fucking
Metal.
somebody, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like metal.
Sounds like, I mean, you can't believe the noises from an acorn.
Yeah, it is kind of curious to mention that. At our home, we have this huge maple
Alright.
that towers
Oh, yeah.
over our house and over our roof. And
Right.
you know, our bedroom, you know, if you're facing my house, is on the right side. But, you know, and our bed, though, is towards the front of the house. And it's the truth. Like, right now, like, at night, you just hear this ting, 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 ting,
Oh, yeah.
ting, ting,
Yeah.
you know. And it's, like, really sharp. Because, well,
Yeah.
acorns are hard.
Yeah, obvious.
So when they drop gravitational pull, they probably build up velocity, speed, and so on.
I was telling Tony that I was reading that, because she's had the same problem we do. We have
Yeah.
so many acorns, like we never had before.
That's true.
And so does Tony. I mean, he said on the side of his house he has actual
Piles.
piles of acorns. And I was reading that there's a high carbon dioxide in the air, and it's making everything like grow like crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's probably why there's so many acorns. And like this tree, they never used to be all covered. There used to be some bare branches. You look now, the whole thing's covered.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It looked like we thought we might have to cut this down at one time.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's true.
You know, it looks sort of like the ones out front.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ones out front are going to have to go.
But see, even like theirs next door,
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. But they both got go.
Mhm.
They already cut down one.
Yeah.
But it was really dead. I don't think there was
Oh,
a leaf
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Did you like the way the second floor turned out, Tom, after they built it?
Ah, definitely.
Yeah.
Super.
I think it looks beautiful, man. I think that whole window thing, man.
Yeah.
Looking back here and the way they, you know, what Mom was mentioning earlier, like they raised the ceiling a bit. Well, they
Yeah.
didn't raise it; they just pitched it up.
They could, yeah.
that's all they
Yeah.
did. They just
Yeah.
pitched it up. I just think
Yeah.
that turned out awesome, man.
It is awesome.
And the bathroom just fit in perfectly, and they did a great job on that.
Yeah.
They did a great job on that. No, overall, I think they did a
The only thing I
great
really
job.
felt that they could have done, and this is probably really pushing it, and I think I mentioned it to you, was, you know, they were using the garage and the stairs to have access to the second floor without walking through the house. Was that I
yeah.
felt that they should have just kept that, just keep it behind your closet. So, you know, if that was your bedroom and you want to go down to get your car in the winter and have your car parked in the garage, you could just walk
Oh,
down, you know,
yeah.
modest, humble steps, and just
Yeah.
a real quick way of just like boom, leaving and going that way.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
know,
actually, at one time, remember we were thinking about having the access from the garage
Yeah.
to the upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
we decided not to do that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
We
well,
wanted to go-
expense, and yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense because then you had to walk through one bedroom to get to the other.
Oh, that makes no
Yeah.
sense.
And that,
yeah.
yeah, that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not a good idea.
That didn't make any darn
Yeah.
sense at all.
But, you know, there was a lot of ways of looking at it, but I think in the final analysis,
Right,
I think it worked out well.
I do.
And the stair room worked out great where the stairs are.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
because we did that L shape.
that
like,
was great.
That,
So like it's like a I won't even call it like a foyer. Well, maybe it is kind of a foyer, you
Yeah.
know, or
yeah, it's better than going just right up.
yeah, I agree. It's
well,
like
you see,
landing
it
and
gives you the privacy.
yeah,
Like my neighbors next door and a lot of people, okay, that when you have stairs that are right next to your front door that go straight up,
right.
and you see a hallway. Like, if somebody comes in the front door and they're standing in your vestibule and somebody's upstairs and they just got out of the bathroom. And
I
they're going
always, in my years in real estate, not as nearly as extensive as others, but there was always that one design that I would always summarily scratch off my list is walking in a front door of a prospective home,
Okay.
and the staircase is right there, 4 feet away from the front door, and you can see right up to
Yeah.
the second floor. Like that was like always
Yeah.
to me, whether I was looking to buy the house or showing it to prospective
Right.
buyers, like, no,
Well, see,
I
your
couldn't stand
house-
that. I couldn't stand
Your
that.
house on St. Charles had a beautiful staircase.
Well, yeah, entrance, but it was tucked away.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that style, that L shape,
Yeah.
I call it an L
Yeah.
shape. And John and Wendy's
Oh, yeah.
steps are the same, along those same
Yeah, see, that's what
lines.
my feeling is in a design in a house, is that you got to have that foyer, you know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
the staircase has to be kind of off to the side. I
Yeah.
mean, a friend of mine, Victor, bought a home in Paoli, Pennsylvania, years ago. And his design, once I walked into his new house, I was like, oh, man. And it was exactly that, Mom. Staircase, boom. And the bizarre thing was, Tom, is that you look up the staircase once you walk in the house, and there's the bathroom.
Oh, God.
That's,
Who designed this?
people aren't thinking it through.
Yeah, you don't think that.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, the other thing too
when you buy the
about
house, I guess you don't realize that.
yeah, the other thing too about this house that I think is a major, major plus, okay, is the fact that you have 2 really good-sized bedrooms
Mhm.
and 2 baths on the first floor,
Yeah.
and you have 2 good-sized bedrooms and a bath on the second floor, which gives you great privacy,
Yeah.
okay? It gives you great privacy. I mean, if you got teenagers playing, music and...
Well, or
and
just having a
games
second floor office, or where Tommy's bedroom is now, and turning that into an office on the first floor. That could be easily just an office there, And that's a big thing with people these days. You got to have an office where you can have your home computer,
Yeah.
pay your bills, work at home type of thing.
Sure.
Because many people are telecommuting.
Yeah.
Why don't we pause here? Is that cool?
Cool.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Cool, cool, cool.